All right, we're here today with Associate Professor Marnie Shaw, who's the Deputy Director of the School of Engineering and a researcher at the ANU Centre for Energy Systems. Hi, Marnie.
Hi, Alex. How are you?
All right, well, there's been a lot of talk about our energy systems and things like batteries, gas, nuclear in the lead up to this election. I'd like to start by asking you, do we need batteries? Do we need energy storage in Australia, and why?
So we do need energy storage in Australia. The great news is it's happening really quickly. The reason why we need energy storage is because we will increasingly be powered by renewable electricity, and that's happening quickly. A lot of Australians don't know that we're already around about 40% of our grid is supplied by renewable energy, and at some times of the day up to 72%. So it's really fantastic news for Australia. We're a world leader in powering our grid by renewable electricity, something we should all be really proud of. What we know moving forward is that sometimes the sun doesn't shine, sometimes the wind isn't blowing, so there'll be gaps in the renewable electricity supply, and that's where we really need energy storage and probably a little bit of gas, around about the same amount that we have already. Around about 5% of our electricity is supplied by gas.
So the government wants to bring in a policy to subsidise household batteries. Do we need household batteries? Are they an important part of our grid storage? And if so, how should they be operated?
Yeah, so we need battery storage of all scales, and that's happening quickly in Australia. So what we have is grid-scale batteries that are being installed at about a rate of 100% increase each year. So that type of battery storage no longer requires financial incentives from the government, and so they're being installed really quickly across the whole of Australia. We also need mid-scale batteries, so they're what we call community batteries, and there was also a federal government scheme in the last election that's resulted in a few hundred of these batteries being rolled out, and that's provides a more equitable access to batteries and will be accessible for, say, renters and apartment dwellers who can't have their own household battery. And then we'll also need household batteries, which some people will want to install. And also important not to remember batteries on wheels, electric vehicles. So hopefully we'll be able to tap into the really large amount of battery storage that will be in our electric vehicles.
And with the household batteries, how do they need to be run in order to be part of our grid and, play a contribution in that?
Yeah, great question. It's important to think about operating the household batteries and all batteries in a coordinated way. So especially if we have any government subsidy for household batteries, would love to see that those batteries are coordinated and operated in a smart way to make best use of the grid that we have, which results in lower costs for all households.
Yeah. Don't we need baseload power, things like coal or nuclear energy, to keep our electricity grid stable?
So we don't need baseload. So most of our baseload will be supplied by renewable energy. So it's more moving to a system where we have renewables supplying most of the electricity demands, and then we just need to use energy storage and probably gas to fill in the gaps. We do need to think about how we're going to provide the system stability services that were previously provided by coal and gas. And so there's been a ton of work done by the market operator to look at how we use energy storage like pumped hydro and batteries to provide those services. So we have lots of smart engineers in Australia. We have a roadmap to being able to achieve that and turn off the coal generators, which is happening, over the next decade. And there were 174 actions on that roadmap, and more than half of them have been met already. So thanks to our smart engineering in Australia, we are a world leader in this space.
What about the role of gas? You said that we need to keep that as part of our plan as well. Isn't gas also a fossil fuel? And what are the benefits of keeping gas as part of our energy mix in the future?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the plan is that we'll likely need still a little bit of gas as kind of like an insurance backup mechanism in case we don't have enough energy storage. So at the moment, around about 5-6% of our electricity supply is from gas, and the plan out to 2050 is it remains about the same. So a really small part of the future energy mix. And yeah, that's important to keep in just as an insurance mechanism.
So we don't need a lot of extra gas in our system at the moment.
That's not the current plan. The current plan is a low-cost, achievable future mix, and it's a small part of the future. And we won't need to use those plants very often. So in terms of emissions, not something I'm hugely worried about, because they'll just be called on as a backup mechanism.